when we talk about golf, and golf's one of these sports to where we think it's easy. We think it's easy to do. Hey, anybody can hit the little white ball, so forth and so on. But when you look at when someone tries to go get instruction, and I'm just talking like a podcast. So, you know, whether you're right now looking for instruction or not, that's not the point. I have a whole YouTube channel. Well, not really. Well, my YouTube channel's there, but I haven't been on YouTube for a while. I have my own search engine on golf. But that's not the point. What I'm getting at is when we first picked up a golf club, okay, um, we thought golf would be like really fun, really interesting. Um, going to go play all the best golf courses in the world, or I'm going to play all the best golf courses in my city or around the country. And you're just going to go out there, hit drives down the middle, hit approach shots to the green, and have fun, because that's what I thought I was going to do when I picked up a club when I was 32 years old. And next March, I'll be 58. But for the first 15 years, and let me get to the point here, or just hold on a second. For the first 15 years of me picking up a golf club, I was the most frustrated individual that you could think of. Just frustrated, just didn't really know how to, hit the ball and that kind of thing. But after 15 years, I stuck with it. I watched tour pros hit the ball, and something clicked to where I realized that the pros weren't being as technical as I've been taught. And so what am I saying? So when people pick up a golf club and they think it's easy, they think they're going to have the best time of their life. They're going to retire, they're going to play golf, and so forth and so on. What happens is they realize that they've got to break bad habits that maybe they picked up over the years. And a lot of times golfers don't even know what bad habits they have. And then when you try to break the bad habits, that's frustrating as well. So you go to YouTube, you type in YouTube, and you think, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. And all of a sudden you realize that each video on YouTube, like 12, 13, 14, 15 minutes. And you are trying to say, well, do I have 12, 14, 15 minutes to watch a video? And then even when you do that, the first 4 or 5 minutes is just a bunch of fluff. It's just a bunch of, well, here's what you're doing wrong. And then, then it's a couple of minutes of, just do this, just do that. And then at the end, they may be trying to sell you something. And then you realize that you really didn't learn anything, because, the tip or trick they were trying to tell you didn't evolve around the whole golf swing. It was isolated to just that little tip, or just that trick isolated to a certain body part, and it didn't connect to the entire golf swing. So now I wouldn't say you're just as confused as before you watch the video, but what I would say is that you really don't know what you watched and how you're going to apply it. And so you go to the golf course, you try your best to apply it, whatever you can remember, and you can't do it. Because again, golf instruction hasn't changed in the least. I was messaging a guy on YouTube, a pretty big golf network, a while back, and he says basically they're just playing to the algorithm. And so I asked him, I said, why does it take 12 minutes to explain an easy concept in golf? Why does it take 12 minutes to do that? And he mentioned to me, well, we're trying to play to the algorithm. And I get it. YouTube, you want more views, you want more viewers, so forth and so on. So you've got to play by their rules. But it still doesn't leave the weekend golfer, doesn't leave them with anything to really chew on. And so they don't ever really understand how the game is played. They don't ever understand really how the golf club works. And so they're for years and years trying to figure that out until either they give up, or they just give in to the fact that they're just going to drink on the golf course and get drunk and, play golf because, the golf course is probably the only place you can really drink and drive. I live here in Hilton Head, so I've seen it all, and that's what happened. So golf hasn't changed. The instruction hasn't changed. If you pull up the top 4 or 5 golf networks on YouTube and type in to the search, how to swing the club, those top 5 golf networks are going to basically tell you the same thing. But you don't know it because you're so into trying to learn the swing that when you watch videos and you think something's different, but it's really not, you're so into wanting to get better, you don't recognize the fact that you're just being told the same thing over and over. And that's why 2-6, that's why my network is different. That's why I'm really not on YouTube anymore, but I may start another YouTube channel, and I'm not sure. But I do have my own search engine where golfers go to my search engine and search real golf, how the golf swing really works. And the results they're getting is phenomenal. Now, I don't post, I used to post all the testimonials, all the video testimonials, which I have on my computer and all that kind of stuff. And, but I don't get reviews like, "Oh, Terry, you're the best teacher in the world," or "You're funny," or you are the best teacher on YouTube. I don't get those accolades because I don't want those accolades. What I want is for you guys to get better. And if I pose a question and say, "Well, how do you start the downswing?" And if somebody responds, "Well, you get top the backswing, and what you do is you do this." Well, when somebody tells me when you get top the backswing, then I know that they don't know what they're talking about. Because top of the backswing is totally dependent upon takeaway and transition up. If you don't fully understand the true takeaway and the true transition up, you're not going to understand how to start the downswing. But yet that's where golf networks start. See, they try to fix your swing after your swing's already started. And once you do that, you can't recover. You can't swing your own swing. You can't just swing hard. The golf club doesn't allow that. The golf club doesn't allow you just to swing hard. You see, because there's only one point in the golf swing where the club is moving the fastest. So if you're swinging hard, chances are you're swinging hard from beginning to end, and that doesn't work. Telling somebody to dip down and get the lead hip out of the way is not golf instruction, guys. It's just not. Telling somebody that, you should be able to get the right elbow in front of your right hip, or if you're able to get the right elbow in front of the right hip, that's not golf instruction. But yet that's all we see online. That's all we see. That's the primary goal. And then they're trying to fill in that 12, 13 minutes to meet the YouTube algorithm. So where does that leave you? Where does that leave me? Where did that leave me for 15 years when I was on and off YouTube trying to find the golf swing? It left me nowhere. I was on and off YouTube for 15 years. I actually took 3 or 4 golf lessons from PGA certified instructors and still could not play the game, still could not hit the ball like I'm hitting it now. So when I started YouTube 15 years ago, I just figured that maybe there were other golfers out there like me, and lo and behold, there were. I built the network from the ground up. I've taught golf all over the world, but see, people wouldn't know that. And I don't care if they don't know that, because I only care if you guys are getting better to actually enjoy this game, because there's too many guys out here trying to get too many accolades, trying to get too many sponsorships from these golf equipment companies that don't really care about whether you get better or not. You see. Now I'm wearing a Titleist hat. Why? Because I like Titleist. Now, is Titleist sponsoring me? No, I'm not big enough for that. You see. Now this is just a regular old shirt. Doesn't have any logos on it. Doesn't matter. See, and I don't bait and switch. I don't bait and switch somebody in to say, "Hey, look how good I swing." to get my 45-minute tutorial on. I don't do that because I know the commitment has to come from you guys. See, that's where the commitment comes. You all could look at my swing all day long. I could tell you how to start the downswing, from the takeaway, from the transition up until the cows come home. But if you don't commit to breaking the bad habits that you already have, nothing's going to work. It's like trying to cut a steak knife with the handle of the knife. You can work you can work your butt off. You can be the strongest person in the world. You could have the strongest wrist and the strongest fingers in the world. The handle of that steak knife is not going to cut that steak. I don't care how tender the steak is. You got to turn the steak knife around and cut it with the blade. And then when you turn it around and cut it with the blade, you're using minimal effort to get that steak cut. Now, what's the moral of that story? You've got to be able to use the golf club in the right way to get to the proper result. And it's not just swinging your own swing. It's not just swinging harder. It's not just go to the top of your backswing. You can't do that. You just can't say, hey, get the club here, and I'm going to tell you how to start the downswing. Or you're going to get here, I'm going to tell you how to get more distance. Or if you get here, I'm going to tell you how to be more consistent. You can't do it on that level. The level has to be done more from a grassroots so your anatomy can actually fill in the gaps. Okay, now what do I mean? One of the big teachings that I have online is everybody's shoulders are wider than their hips. Okay, think about this. Everybody has wider shoulders than the width of their hips. Now, if that's the case, which it is, how do you think you have to take the club away? Because you got to adapt to your anatomy. So people say, well, everybody has different anatomy, which they do. But how many instructors approach the golf swing truly with the fact that the shoulders are wider than the hips? I don't see any of them doing that. But that's something that you have to address to get the shoulders to match the width of the hips so you can transition to top the backswing correctly. Now, how do you get the shoulders to match the hips to transition up? See, that's where you start learning golf. You just don't say, hey, you want to get more distance? Go to top of your backswing and let's get more distance. No, you've just negated a law of your anatomy because you didn't respect the fact that your shoulders are wider than your hips. You see, so as I put together my search engine, my whole search engine is based upon simple logic like that gets you to where you want to go. Now, if I asked you this, how long is the downswing? How long is the downswing? People say, I don't even understand the question. I mean, the downswing is as top of the backswing as you hit the ball. No, that's the wrong answer. The downswing isn't from the top of the backswing to impact. The downswing is only about 6-7 inches long, and that's it. Because if you get that first 6-7 inches wrong as you start your downswing, then the whole downswing's not going to work. You can't start the downswing wrong and then correct it, as you hit the ball. The downswing it's too fast. You only got like 0.23 seconds from top to backswing into impact. So the downswing is not the entire top to the impact to the ball. The downswing is only the first 6 inches. So how do you get to an effective first 6 inches? Again, you've got to understand how you got to the top of the backswing. So what am I saying? So every video, and this is why golf hasn't changed. Every video online, regardless of what they're talking about, regardless of what tip, trick, secret, fix, gimmick, magic, eureka moment they're talking about, they're going to start you mid-swing. They're going to start you from the top of the backswing and then try to get it into that tip, trick, secret, fix, gimmick, magic, eureka moment. And you're going to be confused. You're not going to have the total picture. See, and that's what happens. Every golf video online should start with how you set up, how you grip the club, the 2 positions that you're in already before the club goes back, and then illustrate to you exactly how to take the club back and transition up. So now they know that you're in a better position to top the backswing so they can give you that tip or trick. I'm not saying these I'm not saying these tips and tricks don't work. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they're not enough. They're too much of a microcosm within the swing that doesn't connect the swing. You can't teach a tip or a trick within a 2-second move that's quick and fast. You've got to connect the whole swing and then insert the tip or trick within the whole background of the swing. And I don't think there's anybody online that number one can do that, and number two, they've got to fill YouTube algorithms to fluff it up. So you're sitting there all day long thinking you're learning something and you're really not. I mean, think about it. If the average YouTube golf videos, let's say 12 minutes, and you want to watch what, 4 or 5 a day, do you have that kind of time to not get anything out of it? Do you have that kind of time to take a chance that you're going to waste those minutes on not learning anything? No, you're not going to. It gets to a point where you give up. You give up. Okay. And that's what happens. Now, another reason why I'm saying golf hasn't changed is because they only teach you from a level lie. Okay. And this could be a whole nother YouTube live. And again, I'm going to probably do these lives a little more because I just need to get this off my chest more and more. Wherever it goes, it goes. But here's my point. Golf only teaches on a level lie. That's it. So if you're only being taught from a level lie on every YouTube video you watch, but then as soon as you hit the golf course, you have different lies. How are you going to manage that lie? How are you going to navigate that lie? How are you going to navigate the slope of that lie? Because when I've counted, there's 9 different lies that you can encounter on the golf course. 9 different lies. Now, you're not going to probably encounter all 9 in one round, but you will encounter 3 or 4 consistently every round. So how are you going to navigate that lie when the only way you've been taught golf is from a level lie? You can't. See, that's the point. You can't. Now, what can happen, though, is you can continue to buy new golf clubs every 4 or 5 months, every 3 months, and thinking that you're going to buy a swing, say, this is the golf club that's going to get you more distance, or this is the golf club that's going to make you more consistent. Okay, does that golf club adapt to the slope of the ground? Does that golf club adapt to the lies on the golf course? Does it have hinges on there that when you set the club down, it automatically contours to the slope of the ground? No. So why do you think that magic golf club is going to work? It's not. You've got to understand how to position your feet, how to position your shoulders with the slope of the ground, whether you're on an incline, a decline, whether the ball is above your feet, below your feet, or a combination of those, where the ball's on an incline below your feet, the ball's on an incline above your feet, ball's on a decline below your feet, decline above your feet. See, you got to understand that. And if you don't understand it, then you're in the wrong sport, especially if you're trying to get better at golf. See, if you're trying to get better, the algorithm in golf is set up for you not to get better. It's set up for you just to be right where you are, watching all these YouTube videos, buying all these golf clubs, all these gadgets, swing aids. But I think that is changing. That's changing because there's a movement in golf that you don't know about, and that's called 2-6 golf. That's my network, 2-6. Now, what does 2-6 mean? 2-6 simply means that you make 2 adjustments. You have 2 adjustments at setup that literally put you in all 6 club and body positions more easily. Now, how easily do you say? Well, as easily as you work on it, because you got to work out your bad habits. Now, whether you want to work out your bad habits or not, that's up to you. Okay, right now there's thousands of golfers all over the world who've worked out their bad habits. I've worked out my bad habits. Now, it doesn't mean that we're hitting perfect shots every time, but it certainly does mean that we're in the same arena, knowing right and wrong in the golf swing. Starting from where? Starting from your setup, starting from your takeaway. So I'm going to close with this because I've been on here about 20 minutes. It doesn't even seem like 20 minutes. That's the point. It doesn't even seem like 20 minutes once you start getting into a zone. But here's my question for the next live. If a golf swing's only 2 seconds, which it is, and it has 6 club positions and 6 body positions, which it does, and you're swinging an instrument that has like 12 to 14 different technologies on it, the golf club, which it does, how are you going to insert a little tip in golf instruction or a trick, secret, fix, magic, eureka moment? How are you going to insert that with 6 club positions, 6 body positions, a 2-second swing, and you're swinging an instrument that has 12 to 14 different technologies on it? How is that going to work? The answer is it doesn't, because the average score of weekend golfers hasn't changed in 70 to 80 years. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. One thing I do know is sometimes golf instructors will use that as bait. You know, the golf scores haven't improved in 100 years or 70 years. The average golf score of a weekend golfer is still 100. Well, I've got students who don't even practice. Okay, let me just say this, who don't even practice, who never picked up a club more than 2 years ago, and they're breaking 100. They don't practice. They're with me once a week. That's it. They don't practice, and they're breaking 100. They're doing something that the golf world can't do with all the technology, all the videos at their disposal. They're doing that without any practice. Now, just think if they would practice. Now, they're not trying to be PGA or whatever. These are more of my high school students. But the point is, they've already learned a game for life that we all wish we had learned the right way from the beginning. So I'm going to end with that. All right, guys, got to go. Take care. Thank you for joining. I'm going to do more of these because this is almost more therapy for me. Okay, because of what I do, online and things like that. So, if it hits, fine. I'm not going to put any links in the chat right now, just because I just want you to feel what I'm saying and understand what I'm saying when it comes to golf. You can be better at golf. You could play those nice courses, hit those fairways, hit those greens, make those putts, a lot more often than what you're doing now. If you knew what you were doing, if you knew the technique on how the golf club worked. Again, if you're trying to cut a steak with the handle of the steak knife, it's not going to work. Somebody taps you on the shoulder, tells you to turn the steak knife around, start cutting you with the blade. Oh, how much easier is that? That's what 2-6 is. 2-6 is telling you to turn that steak knife around and use the blade and stop using the handle of the knife. It's not going to cut the steak. YouTube is not going to help you get better. They're trying to play to the algorithm, and you're trying to play better golf. And that's where the moral hazard comes in. Okay, guys, Terry here. Tee him up, hit him straight, and I will talk to you in the next YouTube Live.